just a quick little webinar about changing careers. There are so many different reasons why people um, change their course. And my name is Dorothy Zillick. I work in career services at the University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg, and I just want to touch on this briefly. There's so much great information and resources that are available to our students and alumni. And we just want to make sure that these are known about and that you know that you have access to these. And so we're going to walk through a few different slides with you today, and we hope that you will reach out to us and schedule a time to talk more. So I just love this quote. This is one of my favorite Dr. Seuss. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. So this is something that I think we all need to remember at times that, maybe we started off on one course, but we might not necessarily stay there. We might change as time goes on. National averages say that, people change careers. No, the current I believe is what, 7 to 9. There's so many different options out there. Technology is making more and more possible. There are new careers that weren't here yesterday. So things change all the time, and sometimes it's also about us adapting to that change. In addition to thinking about maybe, maybe this job is just no longer the right fit for me. Maybe there's something more I want. Maybe there's different skills that I want to obtain. Maybe there's different experiences that I want to have. I have different values that I want to use right now and kind of captivate on. So lots and lots of different reasons why we change careers over time. So in this presentation, these are the types of pieces of information that are going to be shared. So some points to consider for career changers, building a transition, reasons students and alumni meet with career services, job search strategies, resumes, cover letters, online resources, big interview platform, networking, LinkedIn, annual career events, additional resources, and then just a quick closing with our contact information. So when we think about change, there are some things to consider. So is there something that you're interested in at this time? Are you having a calling? Is there something that's really motivating you for change? Or did you just reach a point where you're saying it's time for a change? And I know that that's something that I have to consider. Um, so there's different ways that we can potentially help with career services. There are some different types of interest inventories, personality assessments, things like that could be helpful for you to realize how your interests might translate into career options. And most of those inventories are very, very much based in what is going on with you in your life right now. So the way that you're responding to something now might be different than how you responded to it before. So it can be really important for you to consider, well, what would my current interests mean to career options at present? And also remembering that careers may have changed. There might be so many different things to consider now than had been considered in the past. So we are happy to work with you if anyone would like to take one of those inventories, and we can talk about what types of options there are there. And then sometimes it's also just the question, I love the company that I'm with, I love the organization, I value what I do. I just want some new skills, some new projects, some new challenges in my life. So sometimes then it's also a point of, thinking about, are there different types of lateral moves that you can make within the company or within your industry that might be that beneficial thing that you want to do. So a lot of, career changing is also about like doing self-reflection and really introspection and trying to figure out what's best for you at the time. And we're happy to also kind of act as that, that resource and potentially that sounding board. So some things to think about is absolutely your strengths. What would you bring to a new position that you are potentially seeking? think about all the great things that you've done, all the accomplishments that you had. Think about your skills, your interests, and your values. Think about how they all are going to be brought to something new. And sometimes thinking about those strengths, and then I'm moving on to transferable skills. How can some of those strengths, those abilities that you have, how could they be transcendent to all different types of options that you might have? Luckily, there's so many qualities that are consistent with lots of different types of jobs, so that it can be helpful to think about that too. Experience, if you are thinking about something new, do you have related experience that you might be able to highlight on a resume, on an application, within that cover letter? Um, think about, are there even unpaid type of experiences that you've had that are related to the position that you are potentially thinking about? Is that going to help you to kind of pivot? Or do you have time to start building that experience somehow? Could you do something that would be volunteer? Could you possibly volunteer to be part of a board that is with an organization that you're interested in working with? Are there different ways that you could build your experience and kind of make that case for your transition even stronger? So think about those types of things too. Think about your timeline. Think about, is this something that I want to do now? Is this something that I want to do 6 months from now? What is in your best interest? And you may have different factors to think about. You may have different types of scenarios that you have to play out, family benefits, different things to consider. So try to also construct, what is your timeline for this? Building the transition. So this is very, very important in a lot of ways, especially if you're thinking about something that is drastically different than what you have been doing in the past. So if that's the case, for instance, you really might want to start researching and talking to people in the field you're interested in. This is not only something for career information to learn more about that career, but also it's really good networking. Networking is so key to many industries in how you find jobs and how you build your experience. So an important note is, through your research, through your connections, you can start to find out what does make a competitive applicant for the field, the job that you are looking at. And how, if you have to, do you build that? Or how do you highlight the things that you already have done that might then help you to obtain the position? So make a case for the transition. This is very, very important. And cover letters, and I'm going to go through those a little bit later, but cover letters, it is a very important part of your application process. You are connecting the dots for the person reading it. You are connecting the dots for the employer. So that is a key aspect to this. You want to make sure that you are making a case for that transition. Why are you doing it? Why are you qualified? Why are you so enthusiastic about doing this? These are things that they might be asking themselves when they would look at some of your experience on your resume. So really making that case within a cover letter can be really helpful. Your resume can also be tailored to kind of showcase different things that you want to display as well. And again, think about your timeline. Can you build some experience in your desired field if you don't have any at the current time? So this is some reasons why students and alumni meet with career services. So we meet with students who are potentially changing their major for a wide variety of reasons. It could be they've had a shadowing experience, or a class that has kind of said, you know what, this might not be the field for me. So there's different reasons why people choose to change. So we meet with students and alumni on career exploration and planning, job search strategies. So some job search might be a little different for some industries than others. So that's something kind of important to note and to consider. Resume, cover letter critique, Interviewing skills. We do mock interviews, but then there's also a platform that you have access to, and I'll go through that a little bit later too. Networking skills. These can be really important, but also considering the skills and the strategies. Are there different professional organizations that you might want to become involved with? Are there specific industries that really showcase networking and making those valuable connections? Um, I also meet with people for graduate school planning, um, as well as the applications, different types of online resources. Um, Lots of career events and programs are available to you, and we also do help people to prepare for those. And then also, just so you know, we do have a Pitt-Greensburg career closet that has that is accessible to both students and alumni. So job search strategies. So there's lots of different types of strategies to consider, and it might be multifaceted, and often that's a very, very important thing to consider as well. Are you going to do one thing specifically? Is this what you have found is the most beneficial for this industry, or are you going to be kind of multifaceted and add all different types of ways to apply and connect for positions? So think about different ways that you meet people. Um, there could be direct applications to employers. So if you're interested in a company and you know this is what you want, you saw a job posting, you want to apply for it, you could directly apply to the employer. Career fairs can be a good way to not only get your feet wet and kind of learn more about potential options and what might be a good fit for you by talking to different recruiters. You can also make, again, some valuable connections there, which could be very helpful in terms of your application. And most of the time at career fairs, they are accepting applications or they tell you how to best apply. They might give you a contact. Most of the time, you do have to apply online for various reasons, but you're also making a connection with that recruiter that day, which could be invaluable as well. Um, Networking can be, done in person and through, various social media platforms, especially LinkedIn. Um, and then those online connections, again, LinkedIn, but different ways that you can search for jobs. There are a lot of different platforms out there. And one that you have access to in particular would be Handshake, Pick Commons, and different ways that you can connect with the University of Pittsburgh and alumni, as well as the employers that we are working to connect to you as well. Resumes. So you may be tailoring a resume specifically to this, this new position. Oftentimes people have multiple resumes. So they could have something that's a little bit more general. They could have something that is very targeted. You want to make sure that you are paying attention to the job description. What are the keywords? What are the skill sets? What's the experience they're looking for? Anything that you have that would be potentially a good fit, make sure you're highlighting that for someone. And please remember again that when you cite something as related experience, it doesn't necessarily have to be paid experience. You are obtaining lots of great experience and skills through different venues. It could be through organizations you're involved in, different types of professional associations. It could be volunteer work. There's lots of different ways to gain experience and skill sets, and I think that you need to consider how have you expanded that and how do you let someone know about all the great things that you've done. Um, there are many types of industries that do seek a one pager. However, there are industries where a two-page resume is absolutely fine. So one suggestion is to make sure that and the most related experience is listed on that first page if you have a two-page resume. Make sure that you are helping them to get to that next page. Make sure that you are encouraging them to look at all the great things you've done. So make sure that the first page is really highlighted specifically to that job, that industry, and what's the most relevant information that you can list. Uh, Employers can potentially only look at a resume for 10 to 30 seconds. So this is something really significant to remember. Make sure you're highlighting well related experience. You can categorize the different types of experience you've had, maybe managerial experience, healthcare experience. What is it you want to showcase for them? Make it easy for someone to find the types of experience that they are looking for on your resume. And then a portfolio can also be an amazing way to display some of your work. These can be you. These can use different types of software platforms. Some people bring something that is also a binder, a hard copy. So there's different ways that you can showcase these. Particular industries that might be very important to have a portfolio would be communication, creative and professional writing, education, visual and performing arts. These are just some examples. And your portfolio can be important for so many reasons to show that valuable experience you have. And then there's some different examples of software that might be helpful to you as well. Cover letters. So always tailor the cover letter to the position. And this is particularly important for those people who are transitioning. As I mentioned before, connect the dots for the person that is reading your application. Make sure they know why is this person interested in this position? Why are they making that change? And what would they potentially bring to the table? So think about what you bring. Think about how you can make your case for this. Um, Researching the company and industry to make sure that you are bringing up your valuable skills and experience is also very helpful. The mission statement. Are you aligning with the values of the company or organization? Is that why you are really interested in that particular role? Make sure they know that. And for any cover letter whatsoever, there's oftentimes where you are applying online, you are applying more blindly, and you don't necessarily have a contact. Try if there's any way to find a contact within that human resource office, within the company. It can be really helpful. And if you did have a meeting with one of the recruiters, like at a career fair or something, make sure that you're mentioning that name if you're able to do so. How did you find out about this company? Was it through that career fair? Did the recruiter really make a great case of why this would be an amazing company to work for? Did it confirm your interest? Was there's someone who referred you? If you're able to list those names, having a name is always a very, very important thing. And just always remember as well, this is a writing sample. So this is something very important. You want to make sure you've edited, there aren't any typos, there aren't any spelling errors. Make sure that this is a really well written, effective cover letter. General online resources. So these are just a few examples for you so you can note different types of things for job search are on the left. Indeed, Imagine Pittsburgh, usajobs.gov for the federal government. Go Government explains a lot of the information for usajobs.gov and kind of helps you to potentially find your fit by major. Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, or state jobs. There's some great opportunities in all of these different areas. Sometimes people don't know exactly where to search, so we wanted to bring up a few of these key points. County government websites, Chamber of Commerce, employer lists, and then for some more general types of career information. So if you're trying to take an interest inventory, trying to find out more about job projections for a particular industry, the ONET can be really helpful. Career One Stop, the Occupational Outlook Handbook, Department of Labor Information, PA Career Zone. These are all some great online resources for you to start looking into. And there are more. These are just some examples. There's also different types of major related resources that are online. The Art Career Project, for those of you, if you have an interest in the humanities, in art related types of creative positions, that might be something to look at. Being an actuary has so many different resources for people who are interested in actuarial science. Journalism jobs is another example for those interested in, your creative and professional writing, communication, um, PA corrections, PA Historical Museum Commission, Police One, ScienceCareers.org, and then professional associations. The majority of professional associations, they could be through the city, they could be through the state, they could be national. There's all different types of professional organizations out there by industry, and a lot have internships as well as job opportunities posted. Many have a platform, a job search agent that you can potentially look at as well. So these are just, again, some examples, but start looking at your industry, the industry of interest. Are there professional associations that might have networking events you could get involved in? Are there different job boards that you could look at? So these are just some great ways to start thinking about your job search and trying to make it effective and efficient. These are some resources that you have through Pitt. Handshake, that is the job posting system for all of Pitt. And you have access to that as a student, you have access to that as an alumni. So you want to make sure that you are looking at that. You can create job search agents. You can look at different career events that you might be eligible to attend, even as an alumni. Pitt Commons is a great opportunity to connect with people who are all about the University of Pittsburgh. They might have gone to school there. Maybe they are a faculty member, a staff member. There's lots of different connections through Pitt Comments, and you can search by a wide variety of filters, including geographic location, the industry that they're in, job titles, what was their major. So there's lots of different things that you can filter by to really try to find some valuable connections that you want to reach out to. Um, there's also projects and jobs on Pitt Commons too. So there's short-term projects that people build that resume a little bit. Maybe they want to gain a little bit of experience in something, and there's a computer related project, or maybe there's a writing related project where they can gain some experience and start building some of that resume. So that's a very good feature. And then there's also, as I mentioned, jobs on Pitt Commons. For career exploration and inventory, some online resources, there are a wide array. So I would recommend contacting career services to ask about yourself, what you're looking for, because we might be able to help guide you in your choice of doing those. And some of them, it really is helpful if we can sit with you and kind of explain what some of those results mean, and talk more about talk more about your interests, your skills, your values, your experience, and how that might translate into a different role too. Big interview. So this is a platform that you do have access to. This is the link, and you would want to create an account using a Pitt email address, and then you will go back in and log in. So there's a step-by-step guide on our website, but this is just to note that you can practice by industry. You can practice some job titles. You can practice by the type of position you're looking for. They have graduate school planning. They have internships. They have job search. So there's also resources for education majors, researches for those in business. So it's by industry, it's by job type. There's lots of different ways that you can practice your interview skills. And this is just some noting so that you see what you have to do. Register with that Pitt email address. And if you have questions about that, contact us. We can help you with that. Then you'll go back in and log in. You can view a dashboard. You can watch different videos, and you can also start a resume. It does have that access in addition to the practicing your interview of different interview questions, different industries, different job type, or different type of position. And you can then send on those responses to someone to review if you'd like to do that, or just review it yourself. Were there different things that you want to make sure that you bring up the next time when you answer a question like that? Is this a question that you want to make sure that you are bringing specific information into? Are there pieces of information that you know you want an employer to know about you? So there's lots of different things to consider, and this is just one great resource for you to practice. Networking. Networking is key, and developing that 30-second commercial can be very important to different types of industries when you're doing your networking, but it's also uh, important to just have an introduction of yourself. So sometimes it's hard when you're walking up to an employer at a career fair and not knowing what to say. How do you introduce yourself? Having a pre-prepared to some degree uh, 30-second commercial is usually a way to help alleviate some nerves and give you something to say when you're walking up there. And every commercial can be different. I mean, you might be talking to employers that have different types of positions that you want to make sure you're talking about. There could be different experiences you want to showcase in that 30-second commercial. But make sure that you are researching companies, you are looking at different types of positions that it might have. There's all different types of networking events. There's professional networking events. There are impromptu, where you're just meeting someone and learning more about them and having just a great conversation and connecting. You never know when you're going to meet that person who's going to change your life. So having a little bit more information about to share with them, knowing what you want to say about yourself can be really helpful. And it can, again, take away some of that stress. There's also online networking. And online networking is very valuable. You want to make sure that you have a very professional online presence on all platforms. Watch what you have, watch what maybe your friends have. Make sure that everything looks professional. This would be something that you would be okay with other people in the job market looking at. And just make sure that you're considering these kinds of points. The importance of networking, there's what they call the hidden job market. And it's the question of, are there jobs out there that are never posted? I always think that the percentage is not necessarily as high as I've seen in some of the statistics, but can it happen? Yes, it can happen. But most positions are posted, and that is something that is very valuable too. But networking can be important when you are thinking about the hidden job market, in addition to just making a connection at a company, learning more about them, finding out what kind of potential opportunities there might be, and really learning how to showcase yourself, how to talk about all of your amazing strengths, the things that you've done, and the different types of interests and goals you've had. So these are also important points for networking, is learning how to have those conversations. And those conversations can be really key. So these are just a few tips for that 30-second commercial to get you started. Always think about that question, tell me a little about yourself. So you can receive that in an interview, but your response to the question, tell me a little bit about yourself, which actually is a question, please tell me a little bit about yourself, is also important when you're going up to someone at a networking event, when you're walking up to someone at a job fair. And think about uh, where do or did you go to school? What was your major, future career goals or interests? What kinds of experiences have you had? Are you proud of? What kind of accomplishments? What are you looking for in a position? These are all different things that could potentially go into a 30-second commercial. And just remember your 30-second commercial can be different for different people, different industries, different employers. It could be different just because you're in a different place in your life. So they're always changing and evolving. And they are typically 30 to 90 seconds. You don't want it to be too long. It's usually, they say it's called an elevator pitch for a reason because it's something that you can do in a brief manner. It usually takes the time that you would move from one floor to the next in an elevator. So kind of think about that too when you're starting to showcase yours. Um, and as we discussed, these are the few different areas where you might use that commercial or introduction. Networking situations, talking to employers at a job or internship fair, and interviews. Whenever you receive the question, tell me a little bit about yourself in an interview, it's an opportunity. You never know what could be asked of you in an interview. It could be so many different things. They anything on your resume, there could be different things about the industry they want to know about you, different skill sets, all different types of questions that they could ask. And if you receive the question, tell me a little about yourself, it's an opportunity. It is a chance for you to make whatever you want them known about you. No, you can tell them about your greatest accomplishment, why you want the position at their company. Again, remember, you don't know what they're going to ask you. So if there's something you really want them to know about you, make sure to take advantage of that opportunity and tell them about it during that question. The importance of the referral. So as we discussed, networking is really important for a lot of different reasons. And if you are able to gain a contact, so you have someone to write to on a cover letter, or you have someone to speak to at a job fair, or you have someone to connect to for an informational interview about the company. Uh, Try to get a referral. Try to find someone within a company, if you're not talking to somebody, that might be able to give you some more information, that might be able to guide you a little. There's even, potential mentoring opportunities sometimes that can be that you could receive from a referral. So that referral, that way to follow up, that way to connect with someone later, try to obtain a business card or some way to connect with either the person you're talking to or the person that they might refer you to. LinkedIn this is the most professional of networking sites. It's well, one of the most professional networking sites, absolutely. And it is it's great. They have job boards. There's all different types of opportunities for you to connect with different companies, follow companies. There's different ways that you can connect for different types of positions that might be out there, different industries. And you're starting with your own network, but you don't realize how many people within your own network might know other people in other networks that you want to know. So exploring LinkedIn, creating your profile, make sure that it's professional, make sure that it is highlighting your skills, your experience, different things that you would be bringing to the professional world. And you can have recommendations on there. There's different ways to have referrals. There's all different great things that you can do with LinkedIn, and it can be a very beneficial site to explore and utilize within your career search. And we do have a video on with some tips, so please make sure to watch that. In addition to this, there are some other videos that could be helpful to you. These are very brief, they're only about 10 minutes, but they're on resumes, cover letters, other types of job search and preparation related skills to give you some insight, give you just a few suggestions that might be helpful on the way. And then if you want, please reach out to us. We are happy to talk to you even more about that. These are some examples of annual career events that host both students and alumni. And some of them are at our school, some of that are others that are part of consortiums that we belong to. So Penn State, the Career Days, the Pitt Fall and Spring internship fair. IUP has an accounting career day. that is typically seeking accounting, IT majors, other areas as well. So take a look at what types of opportunities they have, who's coming. Pittsburgh Technology Council has various career events held throughout the year. And then Westmoreland County has also started a community job fair that is held at the casino, and that is held every third Tuesday of the month. And the employers change, so you want to take a look at who's going to be coming and see what kinds of potential opportunities they have, what kind of industries are reflected. But these are some different events that you might be able to attend to start doing some of that professional networking and job searching too. Some additional resources. These are just a few examples. We have a lot of different ones on our website, but give you an idea of some of the different things that are there for your preparation that you might be able to start looking at and reviewing. And this is just, kind of the final note. Please remember that your job search can be multifaceted. It can involve looking at online resources. It can involve networking with professionals. It can involve talking to your career center. It can involve going to job fairs. It's so many different ways that you can connect and find positions. And sometimes it may surprise you where you find a job or how you found a connection. But try to use one more than one strategy and consider different options. There might be things that you never thought of before, but they sound interesting. So going to a job fair, talking to someone, finding more out about the different types of positions might also be helpful as you are transitioning or changing jobs. Maybe there's different things that you would consider if you knew more about them. And remember, we are here for you. So if there's some way that we can help, some resources that we can help connect you to, please let us know. This is all our contact information. Always happy to talk to our students and alumni, and we look forward to working with you. So thanks again for being with me here today. There's a lot of information, but our website also has additional resources and platforms that you might want to take a look at. And just remember, you can always contact us for an appointment. Thanks so much.